Lead Hill picnic tradition began early 1894. A tradition of long standing in Lead Hill has been the 4th of July picnic. The picnic, a sort of community homecoming, was constant and well supported by the people for many years. Many elder citizens have indicated that 4th of July celebrations were features of their childhood. It is known that there was a tradition that such events were to be held in the area as far back as 1894, when the great 4th of July flood occurred. It seems most likely that the 4th of July celebrations resumed soon after the bitterness of the Civil War began to subside, perhaps in the 1870s. The tradition was that families from this area would assemble in their wagons and spend days camped at the picnic grounds at Lead Hill. There would be an opportunity to visit with friends and perhaps to see people who had moved away but would come back home just to be at the picnic. There was food, lemonade, fellowship, dancing, horseshoe pitching, and other activities. One amusement, which was popular in the late 1800s, was a mule swing, a type of ride where a mule pulled a sort of merry-go-round with one or more people sitting in swings attached to the structure with chains. Sometimes there were special events, special rides, and on at least one occasion, a hot air balloon. The 4th of July flood, when the ground becomes saturated, a heavy rain comes on top of that and lasts for several hours, there is danger of flood in the Ozark Mountains. The Mountain Echo, published at Yellville in 1894, said, on the night of July the 4th, the most destructive rain fell in Marion and adjoining counties that was ever known. It rained from 6 p.m. on the 4th of July and on to 5 a.m. on the 5th. East Sugarloaf Creek flooded to the bases of the hills and inundated the business part of the old Lead Hill. A small blacksmith shop and carpenter shop were carried away on the flood. When the torrents of floodwater came down East Sugarloaf Creek at Lead Hill, it took the water mill, which was owned by Bryce Milam, at that time was rented to William Trusty. The Trusty family lived in the Morrill home near the creek and operated the mill east of town. Mrs. Liddy Trusty, with 3 children, were in the house when the flood swept it away and smashed it to bits. Mr. Trusty and 1 child escaped death. It was reported that the creeks rose rapidly, washing out fences and covering some rich bottomland with several feet of gravel, and in some places washing out the dirt to the solid rock. Many roads along the mountains were ruined, some beyond any repair.